So first, I checked out the UCEAP website. They have a catalog of the past classes that students have taken and have gotten credit for. So that's the first stop, I think. And if you don't see a class that is like transferable for the requirement that you're looking for, you can also look at Yonsei's class catalog. It's a little bit harder to navigate, but there is a tab for like study abroad courses that you can filter by. So you can filter by that and also like type in keywords. And you can also look up their syllabus through that. So you can check to see if it's similar to the class you're taking at your home university. So you can also download that syllabus for later when you want to petition to your home university to get that requirement filled.
So at my school specifically, it was required that we speak to academic advisors and our study abroad department before departing and before choosing our classes in general. There was a list of classes that previous study abroad students have taken at Riverside, and so I was looking through that one, and I was also getting some guidance from my academic advisor. And since I knew that I was going to study abroad here for all of my college experience, I did save some of my elective units in my degree audit so that I can have some more space in my schedule.
The best advisor, honestly, is just your friends or other people who have studied abroad before. Like the Discord, there's like a Yonsei Discord for students who have studied abroad before. See what classes they recommend, right? Like they have probably taken before, they know what the class content is going to look like, whether it's easy, whether it's hard, what the format of the class is, and also whether transfer to their home universities.
One of my main tips is when you're on the Yonsei main portal, make sure to click English. It's like at the top left corner, it'll say KOR/ENG. Make sure to click English, because if you have your browser translate it for you, it's gonna have really weird translations. And it won't translate everything. So just set the website to English first. And you should use Google Chrome to be safe. Like don't use other browsers, because for some reason, like it might not support another browser. Have the class codes ready, and make sure that like they don't overlap in their hours, because if they do, the moment that registration opens, like if they overlap, you can't add it to your schedule. And classes fill up quickly. There's like a mile bidding system where they'll give you a certain number of like miles, and when you want a class, you have to bid for it by setting a certain number of your allotted miles. So if you put more of miles, then you're more likely to get it. But because you have a limited number, you have to keep that in mind.
So what's important is you want to look for the classes that you need. Like for classes you absolutely need. Let's just say you've decided that I need to take this class in order to graduate, to get credit back at my home university. I need this class. Then you likely want to bid as much as you possibly can just to guarantee that you get it. Or what you should do is you should look at the previous mileage. So what you can do is you can see how much students from previous semesters have bid for this class in order to get in.
For me, there were quite a few. So I initially bid on 4 classes and I got 2 out of the 4. I got my major class, which was important, but I underestimated how popular some of the other classes that I wanted to take were. So I believe you should really set your priorities and evaluate how much you want each class and take that into account when bidding.
I know for my major specifically, since I'm a business admin major, if you want to take classes related to business within Yonsei, you kind of have to fill out an application where you have to declare yourself as a business administration student at your home campus, so that you're able to get classes over here that are related to business administration. Because within the School of Business within Yonsei is only limited to international students who are business admin students only. So from those mileage points that you get during your initial course registration, I would say put it more to your Korean class if you're trying to take a Korean class over here. And then if you don't get it your first time, you have the opportunity of getting it the second time. But what they would say is, if during the third, when it's the add and drop, there's like no way you're going to get into a Korean language class. So if you are trying to take a Korean language class, I would say try to prioritize it during your first 2 course registration.
For me, I found that at home, I typically have more workload, but at least for my major class and from what it seemed from my friends' major classes, it's a lot more dependent on like midterm or final or a few major assignments instead of like weekly section or weekly assignments or projects scattered within the class. So in terms of workload, I would guess less, but instead of the workload, it is compressed into a few major assignments.
It was just like the kind of switch from the semester system or the quarter system to the semester system. I think the 10 weeks that we get is so like fast paced and everything is just like back to back. And you always have like, the paper you're starting to work on like the first week doing like the back home. And then over here, it's more like a very chill, like easy breeze kind of way because it's so spread out. So I would say it's easier over here than back at home.
Oh, if you're fulfilling requirements for your degree, double, triple check with your academic advisor that it covers the requirement that you're looking for. Because it really sucks if you can't take that course or it doesn't count for anything. Also, make sure that they're in English. My friend accidentally signed up for all Korean courses, so that was a lot to fix. And then by the time she realized most classes were already filled. So just double check. You can never be too safe.
You shouldn't be studying abroad in Korea with the mindset that you can take easier classes here and get them transferred. Just take what you find interesting, take what you find fun that you would want to learn, or that you find easy.
I think all the universities will tell you to go for a pre-approved form that you're supposed to fill out. So you submit that like maybe a month or as soon as you know like which class you're interested in. And you submit that form to your university and they'll get back to you, hopefully before you have to sign up for classes, on whether that's approved or not. So sometimes they would actually give you approval for getting that credit for that class before you even take it. So that's like the best case scenario. So then when you actually sign up for their class, then you know you're for sure gonna get credit for it.
Right.
But what we found out a lot of times is that they take a really long time to get back to you, and that usually that's after you sign up for classes, or even if maybe 2-3 weeks after like the semester even starts sometimes. So that's why like it's kind of hard to judge like which class you get credit for and what class you do. So keep that in mind when you're like trying to consider or plan out your courses.
Take classes that not only pertain to your major but also pertain to your knowledge about the country so that you can better understand the country that you're living in.
Along with that, it was really helpful to read the syllabuses or syllabi, because at home we have things like Rate My Professor where you can find out a little bit about the class before going into it. Here, at least to my knowledge, there is nothing like that.
Looking at the course registration, they'll tell you that some of the classes are offered in English, but then all of a sudden they do a lot of like more Korean than English, and it's just like, oh, I thought class was more like English related, but no, it's like it was all just Korean, and they were like having trouble like understanding it. So I would definitely say ask around, people. One more for Korean language classes. I know for them, if you're in one, I believe it's kind of English and Korean, but once you start hitting 2, 3, 4 and above, the entire class is taught in Korean. So I would say be ready to like learn an entire course in Korean.
I feel that you need to be diligent with your studies here because even though there aren't a lot of assigned material, there are still a lot of readings and a lot of things that you should look at before your classes, and those are there for a reason. They're there to help you to study for your future exams and things that actually do count towards your grades. So I would recommend to just stay diligent in your studies.
Don't be absent from class. They are super particular about your attendance here. If you miss more than 1/3 of your classes, then you get automatic F. It doesn't matter how well you did. You could ace everything, like all the midterms, finals. If you miss 1/3 of your total classes, you're done. So don't miss class. With attendance, if you're like historically have like been late to classes, you also can't be more than 5 minutes late to class. Otherwise, that's absent. And just think twice before you sign up for a morning class, because again, if you're used to skipping your morning classes because you're too tired or you just went out the night before, that will not fly here. You have to go to class. So just something else to think about before you sign up for morning classes.